Ever feel like you're stuck on fast forward? Like hit an order now and boom, it's there the next day. Swipe right and bang, instant connection. Well, maybe. But this whole I want it now feeling, I don't know, is it just me? Or is it kind of everywhere these days?
It's definitely not just you.
Today, we're going deep on why we crave instant gratification.
Ooh, I like it.
Our main source is this article, Why We Want Everything Instantly. And get this, it ties in the Stanford marshmallow experiment,
Oh, classic.
the digital age, even lottery winners going broke.
Ooh.
You ready to get a little uncomfortable with how much we all want it in NW?
Always up for a little discomfort. But what's really interesting to me is how this isn't some new fad, you know? That marshmallow experiment was way back in the 60s.
Yeah,
But it's scary how relevant it still is today.
right. Picture yourself as a kid, one marshmallow just sitting there. Could you resist?
Ooh, tough one.
That's what they tested. And the kids who waited for a second marshmallow, they actually did better in life later on.
Exactly. Willpower, impulse control, all that stuff. It's like a muscle.
Back then, maybe it was resisting a second marshmallow. But think about today. Social media is designed to hook us with those instant likes.
Oh, yeah.
The gig economy makes us crave those immediate payouts.
Mhm.
It's like our willpower is getting a constant workout and not the good kind.
Totally. The article even calls smartphones syringes of dopamine,
Ooh, that's a good one.
which kind of creepy, but also kind of true.
Right.
Every notification, it's that little dopamine rush, and our brains are like, more.
And that's where the design gets sneaky. You've got infinite scroll keeping you hooked, those push notifications interrupting you every second. It's not just that we want it instantly, it's that tech has figured out how to make us want it instantly.
That's like, remember waiting a whole week for your favorite show? Now I've binged an entire season and I still feel empty. But okay, serious question. What's the downside of this need for speed?
Right.
The article didn't hold back there. It gets dark fast. It mentions lottery winners going broke, like they just couldn't handle having it all at once. And then there's the Jeffrey Epstein example, how this desire for instant gratification fueled his manipulation.
Yeah.
It's a harsh reminder that this I want it now can have some seriously bad consequences.
Okay, wow, that took a turn. So are we doomed to be slaves to instant gratification? Or is there a way out of this mess?
Well, the article dives into some pretty deep stuff about time and decisions, referencing the work of psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan.
Okay, hit me with this Lacan wisdom. How does it tie into all this?
He had this 3-stage framework for decisions: the moment of looking, the time to understand, and the moment to conclude. Imagine you're online shopping.
Oh, I'm very good at that. Let's go with it.
Okay, so you see this awesome gadget, right? That's the looking. You could research it, compare prices, think about if you really need it. That's understanding. But what usually happens...
Buy now.
Exactly. We hit buy now. The moment to conclude, we skip that time to understand entirely.
Whoa, it's like I can actually see myself doing that. Instant gratification wins again. So what's the big deal about skipping that understanding part?
It means we make impulsive choices. We don't take responsibility for our actions, and we end up feeling dissatisfied. Like that gadget, maybe it ends up in a drawer a month later. And it's not just stuff. This applies to relationships, career choices, everything.
Yeah, feeling very called out here. So if we're all rushing to conclude, as Lacan puts it, is there any hope for us? Can we actually rewire ourselves to enjoy waiting?
That's where the article gets really interesting. It talks about the power of waiting as a space for thought and creation. But I think that's a conversation for part 2 of our deep dive. We've got a lot more to unpack.
All right, so we've established that we're kind of obsessed with instant gratification and our brains are basically wired for it now. But you mentioned this idea of waiting as a positive thing. How does that work in a world where everything's screaming, get it now?
It is a total paradox, isn't it? But the article argues that this culture of immediacy has actually messed with our perception of time. It's like we've forgotten that good things, they actually take time.
Oh, 100%. It's everywhere you look. Don't wait to pay. Enjoy it now. Real-time updates. We're constantly being told that waiting equals losing.
And it's not just marketing. This just-in-time mentality has seeped into everything.
Yeah.
We want instant answers. We want instant results.
Right.
Instant relationships, even.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. This rush, it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
The article connects it to everything from traffic accidents to stress-related illnesses. Like, it's a lot.
Right. It's like we're so busy speeding through life that we're missing the point entirely.
Right.
But, okay, back to this waiting thing.
Yeah.
The article mentions something called the clock of life.
Ah, Yes, remember Lacan's 3 stages of decision-making?
Uh,
Well, the article uses this clock of life to show how we're constantly rushing to that moment to conclude, that instant gratification fix.
okay, remind me, what were those stages again?
Looking, understanding, and concluding. So let's say you're scrolling through social media, right?
Okay.
You see a friend's amazing vacation photos. That's the looking.
Right.
Now, the understanding would be like thinking about how those photos are just a snapshot.
Right.
They don't show the stress of travel, the cost,
Okay.
all that stuff, right?
Right.
But we skip that part and jump to concluding, I need a vacation now.
Ouch. That is exactly how it goes down in my brain. So by rushing to conclude, we end up making decisions based on incomplete information.
Yeah.
Driven by that instant gratification urge.
Precisely. And it's not just about vacations.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
The article talks about parents feeling pressured to instantly fix their kids' problems.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of, letting them learn from mistakes.
It's like we're robbing ourselves and our kids of the chance to grow and learn.
Yes.
Because we're so focused on the quick fix.
Exactly. The article calls it imperative novelty. Like we're constantly chasing the newest thing, the next upgrade, and we're never fully appreciating what we already have. It's like we're always looking at the grass on the other side of the fence.
I feel personally attacked by this article, but seriously, this constant need for newness, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And honestly, kind of depressing.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from this cycle?
That's where the power of waiting comes in. And I'm not talking about like just passively waiting for things to happen.
Right.
It's about choosing to wait, to savor the anticipation, to appreciate the process of growth and creation.
Okay. I'm starting to see the difference. It's like instead of constantly chasing that next dopamine hit, we're choosing to find joy in the journey.
Exactly. Think about learning a new skill or building a meaningful relationship or working towards a long-term goal. Those things take time. They take effort. And yes, sometimes they even take a bit of frustration.
Right.
But the rewards are so much richer because we've invested ourselves in the process.
It's like the difference between instant coffee and a slow brewed cup.
Ooh, I like that.
The instant one, maybe it gives you a quick caffeine fix. But that slow brewed one, it's richer, it's more complex, and ultimately it's more satisfying.
Perfect analogy. And this applies to so many areas of life.
Yeah.
We can choose to savor a home-cooked meal instead of ordering takeout. We can read a book instead of scrolling through social media. We can have a deep conversation instead of firing off a quick text. It's about shifting our focus from that immediate reward to that long-term fulfillment.
This is making me rethink my entire approach to life.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do this? How do we cultivate patience in a world that's constantly telling us to hurry up?
That's got to be part 3, right? Okay, I'm ready for the actionable stuff. We've talked about the downsides of instant gratification and the beauty of waiting, but how do we actually become more patient? Give me the tips.
Well, the good news is patience is like a muscle,
You can train it. The article has some great techniques, and the first one is surprisingly simple. Delay gratification in small, everyday moments.
So like not checking my phone the second it buzzes. That's going to be tough.
It is. It's about catching those impulses and making a different choice. Like, instead of reaching for that sugary snack when you're stressed, take a walk. Instead of hitting buy now, add it to your cart and wait a day. It's like mini workouts for your willpower.
I can see how that would add up over time. But what about bigger goals? The ones that take months or even years to achieve? How do you stay patient when the finish line seems so far away?
That's where the article's advice to focus on the process really comes in. It's about finding joy in the doing, not just the getting.
So instead of obsessing over the end result, like, say, launching a business, you're saying I should enjoy the steps along the way, the market research, the website building, all that.
Exactly. If you're only focused on that launch date, you're going to miss all the little victories along the way. It's like if you're learning a new language, celebrate mastering a new verb tense, not just being fluent.
It's so easy to get caught up in the what and forget about the how. But you're right, the how is where all the growth happens, the challenges overcome, the skills developed.
And that's what makes reaching the goal so much more satisfying. It's not just about the destination, it's the journey that shapes you.
This whole conversation has been a journey. We've gone from marshmallows to smartphones to online shopping carts and back again. But I have to ask, for our listeners out there who are ready to embrace the art of waiting, what's the first step? Where do we even begin?
Start by noticing your own patterns. Like, when do you feel that I want it now? Urge most strongly. What triggers it? Once you're aware of it, you can start making conscious choices to pause, breathe, and consider the long-term consequences.
It's like hitting the reset button on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just reacting, we're choosing how we respond.
Exactly. And remember, patience is a practice, not a perfection. Some days you'll nail it, other days you'll cave to that instant gratification urge. It's about progress, not perfection.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of instant gratification. We've uncovered the downsides, explored the power of waiting, and even armed ourselves with some practical strategies for cultivating patience.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and hopefully it's given you, our listeners, some food for thought as you navigate your own relationship with time and instant gratification.
Absolutely. Remember, you have the power to choose how you respond to this I want it now world we live in. So take a breath, savor the moment, and embrace the beauty of waiting. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.